A well-rounded education for all children is an objective being advanced by the coalition government since it came into office in 2015. The administration has been making significant strides to this end. Hello, welcome to another edition of InfoHub In-Depth. On this program, we will examine the measures put in place by the government to ensure every Guyanese child has access to quality education.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.
The government has been consistently investing in the education sector to ensure that the nation's children receive it at the highest possible level. Education budgetary allocations under the APNU-AFC coalition government have steadily increased over the years. Easy and equal access to free education has been a mantra for the administration, particularly Head of State President David Granger. Even in the early stages of his political career, President Granger advocated for this right to be extended to all Guyanese children. He continues to do so today. The head of state believes that the education system must ensure that students graduate with knowledge, skills, and attitudes allowing them to secure gainful employment and contribute to the nation's development. He said the education system, therefore, must guarantee that graduates are able to participate not only in Guyana, but in a very highly competitive global economy. At the 2015 rally to close Education Month activities, President Granger emphasized every child will be exposed to opportunities of learning. He stressed the need for equal access to education for all. Like every other need, the president believes that, like children on the coast, those in the hinterland regions must also have a sound education.
This is what we're aiming at, ensuring that every child has a place in school. Every child can get to a secondary school. It is the starting point towards ensuring that we reduce disparities and that we allow for greater equality in our education system. We therefore need a system that ensures that every child attends secondary school. Education is the gateway out of poverty, out of inequality. Education will unlock opportunities for employment for our young people. Education will help our young people to participate in the local and the global economy. Every child, therefore, must be in school if that child is to overcome poverty and inequality. Any child who does not have access to secondary school will be disadvantaged, and too frequently forever.
That was mere months into his presidency. Efforts have continued over the years to meet that objective. That same year, out of the $221 billion national budget, $33.8 billion was allocated to the education sector. The following year, $40.3 billion out of a $230 billion budget was allocated. Then in 2017, out of the $250 billion national budget, $43.1 billion was allocated for the running of the sector. This year's allocation to the education sector is $41.9 billion from the $267 billion National Financial Plan. In his 2018 budget presentation, Minister of Finance Winston Jordan said the government will be improving the quality of learning by providing a stimulating environment for all students. In this regard, the government will intensify efforts to transform the systems of education delivery via technology. He reported that hundreds of teachers had received basic IT training at that time, while others were trained in the use of software to facilitate students who learn at different paces. Additionally, teachers were being trained in website building and online teaching. Other initiatives continued throughout this year. Other programs, such as the Digital Classroom program, came on stream. This program will benefit at least 3,540 students and 170 teachers. Priority has also been given this year to creating e-material for improved learning in classrooms. Minister of Education Nicolette Henry shared how this sector was being transformed by the government.
In 2017, we invested significant sums at the nursery, primary, and secondary levels. Apart from routine activities, some of the initiatives we rolled out included emergency intervention for mathematics at the primary level, with a strong focus on content and methodology. Expansion of the music program, where we trained in excess of 300 teachers in the areas of dance, music, visual arts, and physical education, with a view to creating more rounded students. Monies have been allocated in the 2018 budget for curriculum review. The interactive radio instruction program will be reviewed. There'll be leadership training for senior teachers, development of a handbook for teaching method and strategies for primary teachers, and the development of standards for primary mathematics from grades 1 to 6. Mr. Speaker, these interventions will build on the progress already made to better equip our students holistically, to allow them to succeed in the 21st century, where all of the opportunities and inevitable challenges that lies before us.
President David Granger not only believes in children accessing a sound education, he also wants to ensure that those who reach the students in the classroom daily are qualified to do so. In that regard, he has been stressing the importance of trained teachers and the skills they could take to the classrooms. He said having trained teachers in the classrooms is pivotal to the efforts of reversing the decline in the education system.
The teachers are the guardians of quality assurance in education. Education standards will decline unless there is a core of trained and qualified teachers who are capable of upholding quality assurance in education.
The head of state showed his commitment to trained teachers when he donated $1 million to the Cyril Potter College of Education in 2016. He said while trained teachers are valuable in the classroom, being technologically savvy is also an asset. To this end, he implemented the One Laptop Per Teacher initiative to allow for an improved level of education dissemination by teachers.
Teachers must be prepared for the new demands of the information age. The future of education requires teachers to have full knowledge of ICT and to be adept at utilizing the technologies of information. The One Laptop Per Teacher initiative, which is being launched this morning, asserts the importance of education to the nation. It acknowledges the role of information in education and the value of our teachers in the delivery of that information to our students. Teachers are essential to education and must lead the process. We don't want the students to be ahead of the teachers. We don't want the teachers to be left behind. Teachers must become familiar with the technologies of information, the gathering of information, data storage, and data retrieval.
The government also increased the CPC students' stipend. There was also an 80% increase in the Remote Area Incentive, RAI, for teachers. Head teachers countrywide also benefited from leadership training, while a number of teachers were trained to work with special needs children. The government has also provided education management training to help school administrators enhance their accountability and competence. Learning kits were also distributed to all nursery school teachers.
The government's focus on education has not only been on the performance of students and teachers. The administration has not only been talking the talk, but has been pumping billions of dollars in resources into the sector.
For the school feeding programs, almost 700 Region 4 students have been benefiting from a breakfast program. That program was also expanded to other regions across Guyana. The government had made a 25% increase on uniform vouchers. Also, thousands of footwear were distributed to children in the hinterland regions. President Granger pioneered the Buses, Boats and Bicycles initiative, which has aided hundreds of children across Guyana in being transported to school. The government has also sought to ensure that teachers are trained in music. Steel pan playing was introduced to the Stewartville, Diamond and Bladen Hall secondary schools. The coalition government's investments in the education sector have proven fruitful over the last 3 years. This was demonstrated by the annual improvement in the overall pass rates and the core subject areas at the National Grade 6 Assessment, the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, and the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations. An analysis of the pass rate of the NGSA core subjects over the past 7 years shows consistent improvements from especially 2015. In 2011, the overall pass rate for mathematics stood at 11%. By 2015, this pass rate had reached almost 38%. In 2017, the pass rate had risen to 45.6%. This year, the pass rate declined slightly to 38%. English language in 2011 was at 21%. At this year's analysis, data showed that the rate had risen to the highest over the 7-year to a whopping 60%. 7 years ago, science and social studies were only 30 and 33%, respectively. This year, both subjects had a pass rate of 46%.
The government, through the Ministry of Education, said its new approach to the delivery of education is responsible for the results. In June of this year, Minister of Education Nicolette Henry said the improvements at the NGSA were a direct result of government's increased spending, among other strategies employed in the education sector.
We recognize that we have to invest in our people. And so that requires us recruiting additional supporting staff, developing and strengthening the existing programs to result in the kind of results that you see today. And it's not only specific to English. Last year, as you are aware, we did the intervention, which was intended to improve results. I want to underscore the point that improved performance is really an output indicator. It is the indication of a lot of hard work, a lot of systems that were put in place, a lot of procedures, a lot of initiatives that were implemented by the Ministry of Education.
At the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate this year, data show that the overall pass rate was the highest in 3 years. According to the Ministry of Education, over the years, there has been a constant increase in passes in English language and mathematics. In 2015, English language recorded an overall pass rate of 49.36%, but this had increased to 63.39% in 2016, 63.8% in 2017, and then 67.14% in 2018. Minister Henry highlighted the efforts and contributions of the government as the force behind the successes.
Please know that these tangible results is a demonstration of the hard work and the commitment of all of the persons that are working to support education, not only our administrators and education, but certainly our support partners.
The government's promise of a curriculum reform finally got underway in June of this year, with the Ministry of Education pumping $1.3 billion in this program.
The Ministry of Education, through the Guyana Education Sector Improvement Project, commenced a series of countrywide consultations in June. The integrated curriculum reform, which is pegged at some US $6.3 million, is intended to improve student achievement at nursery, primary, and at lower secondary levels. This will be achieved by implementing a phased curriculum revision, defined not only as the content students are expected to learn in each subject and grade level, but also the way in which that content is taught. Emphasis will be placed on interactive, student-centered pedagogies, social inclusion, and gender-informed approaches. Additionally, the reform is intended to bring about continuous improvement in the education system. The modifications will be phased in by subject and level. This will be guided by an overall curriculum framework. Each subject course outline will be revised, including revised teaching methods, assessments, and materials to be implemented in pilot schools. The pilot schools will represent all local regions, including schools in hinterland regions and riverine areas, different levels of student preparation and academic performance, different sizes and mixes of grade levels, and schools with students with disabilities. The government's commitment to the education sector does not end at the secondary level. At the tertiary level, over 15 bachelor's degree programs were reformed and reintroduced at the University of Guyana. 13 buildings at the institution were rehabilitated, while laboratory equipment and furniture were installed in the science and technology faculties. A fiber optic ring and wireless network was also installed. Research projects in the impact of mining on biodiversity, alternative medicine, and the integration of environmental education in the mathematics curriculum were completed.
In recognition of teachers' contribution to improving the education sector, the government initiated a high-level task force to fast-track salary negotiations for public school teachers.
The Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union during August met to negotiate a multi-year agreement. During the meeting, both sides were unable to reach a consensus on the issue of the salary increase for teachers. The ministry had said the proposal was too high for the government to commit to that at the time.
We cannot afford to give 40% increases in wages to teachers at this point in time. I said that to the union. I've on record as having said that at every opportunity that I've been asked, and I say that again this morning.
The union's proposal sought a 40% increase in salary for 2016, 45% in 2017, 50% in 2018, 50% in 2019, and 50% in 2020 be granted to all categories of teachers and educators. The ministry's counter-proposal, however, stated that the government would have made available a ballpark figure to facilitate an increase in salaries for all teachers based on the current salary scale. It was also agreed upon between the two parties that a specialist would have been contracted by the government to work with the union to determine the percentage of increase per category. The union's disagreement with government's offer sparked a series of protests across the country well into the first week of the new school term. Minister Henry reiterated government's strong support for teachers and the education sector on a whole. She reminded while government cares both for the teachers and the students, that it is the government's responsibility to provide educational services to the nation's children.
As government, I want to say that we will continue to advocate on behalf of teachers. We will continue to look out for our teachers. We will continue to look out for our children. It is my responsibility and my duty to ensure that the school system functions, whether we have to have substitute teachers, alternate teachers, temporary teachers. We cannot. That's not one that you can play around with people's education.
After days of misunderstanding between the union and the ministry, both parties decided to move towards arbitration. The decision to go to arbitration saw the teachers' union calling off the strike and returning to the classroom. Arbitration is set to commence soon.
The most recent challenge faced by the government in the education sector has proven the administration's resilience in the face of adversity. Government maintains that its role of providing a better life for all Guyanese will remain despite the odds. You have been watching another InfoHub In Depth. Join us again next week. Goodbye.
Why when I drink a nice guy, I get smoking on? Hey barman, y'all don't sell cigarettes anymore?
The new tobacco law says we can't have cigarettes on public display and we can't advertise that we sell it.
Okay, give my pack.
You can't do that in here, buddy. The law states that you can't smoke in an enclosed area. You have to go outside.
I think that's how they do it in foreign. So, the law finally comes again. I'm glad though.
Let's all work together to prevent cigarette smoking related illnesses.
Roundabouts. Approaching a roundabout. When you approach a roundabout, you must use your indicator if you intend to turn left or right or make a U-turn at the roundabout. You must give other road users sufficient notice of your intent to turn. Entering a roundabout. When entering a roundabout, you must slow or stop to give way to any vehicle already in the roundabout. You must also continue to use your indicators if you intend to turn left or right or make a U-turn. Turning left. When turning left, you must indicate left on approach and be travelling in the left-hand lane unless there are road markings with other instructions. Stay in the left lane and exit in the left lane. Turning right. When turning right, you must indicate right on approach and be travelling in the right-hand lane unless there are road markings with other instructions. Making a U-turn. When using a roundabout to make a U-turn, you must approach in the right lane and signal right. Changing lanes in a roundabout. Drivers may change lanes in a roundabout if they wish. The usual road rules for changing lanes apply. You must use your indicator and give way to any vehicle in the lane you are entering. Going straight ahead. You don't need to signal when approaching the roundabout if you are going straight ahead. You may approach the roundabout from either the left or right lane unless there are road markings with other instructions. Exiting a roundabout. As when you exit a road, you must signal left when leaving a roundabout, if it is practical to do so, and you should stop indicating as soon as you have exited the roundabout. However, when you are travelling straight ahead on a small single-lane roundabout, it may be impractical to indicate when exiting.